Damn it, I wish this logo. Okay, no, I'm trying too hard with the. Yeah. Anyway.
Nobody's gonna like really though. That's the way you wanna. Okay. You can't see the hose on my sweater.
Right when I'm drinking. Yeah, they're all the way down.
Well, actually, you can see it on the arm. You can see the hose.
Down by the pants. Oh, okay, I see.
Anyway.
Now I need my I need to get a Christmas sweater.
Basically, I try to get ugly sweaters, but I can't actually get myself to purchase a sweater that is that hideous. So I just have cute holiday sweaters.
I mean, I don't think I've actually seen an ugly Christmas sweater. I liked all of them. I mean, unless they're
you get like
puke
you
yellow.
get weird. Well, you get like weird ones every now and then, but yeah, I don't know if I've really seen like a truly ugly one. I've seen some people they look good on, and some people they probably won't. But I can't say that I've seen like an actual like truly ugly sweater.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing ugly about Christmas.
I love Christmas. It's one of my favorites. Well, Halloween is really my favorite, but yeah, I know Christmas is like your favorite, but you don't even like, I mean, I'm not even going to go there.
Well, we did get a Christmas tree last year, basically because my parents made me. We're like, you're going to be home for Christmas. We want to take a picture with a Christmas tree so they could send it to their friends.
Hey everybody, I'm Zoe.
And I'm Chandi.
And welcome back to Bound by the Cloak Minisodes. The holiday season is upon us, and we thought it'd be really fitting to get some really, really good holiday stories from you guys. So we reached out, you guys responded. So without further ado, we present to you crazy and weird holiday 911 calls picked up by operators. Chandi, have you, like yourself, ever had any weird, crazy 911 calls on a holiday? Or do you know anybody who's had like a weird 911 emergency situation on a holiday?
I want to say yes, but my life is just not that interesting.
I'm so sorry that your life is not that interesting, but...
No, I think this is why, like, I'm so excited. This is why it was so exciting to do this, because of all the stories that came in.
I mean, yeah, we got a lot of great stories. I don't have, like, that many personal ones, but I'm not even going to get into detail because, you know, family listening. But, you know, we've had a lot of, like, weird domestic things occur, especially on, like, Thanksgiving. So I haven't had too many weird experiences, but shit happens. Family happens.
Well, Thanksgiving is in 11 days, so are you foreseeing anything?
I am foreseeing absolutely nothing, because the way that I've been dealing with Thanksgiving for the past few years is this. I don't come downstairs until it's time to eat. After I'm done eating, I then find a very quiet spot, whether it's back upstairs or it's in the basement somewhere or it's in the living room because nobody's in there. I want to sit and watch my movies. I watch the same movies every Thanksgiving. Why? It's just my thing. I have to watch Christmas Vacation, because then to me that ushers in the Christmas season officially. All right, so let's get into these 911 holiday calls. So here's the first story. I was working early morning, about 6 a.m., took a 911 call from a whole family feeling sick. Mom and dad both had headaches. The teenage daughter was very lethargic, and the dog and cat were dead. They're pretty sure it was carbon monoxide, because the detector kept going off at 1 a.m. And they said we couldn't get it to stay off, so we threw it outside.
Oh, wow. Oh my God. It's funny, but it's not.
It's so terrible that it's borderline funny. Like, dude, it's a fucking carbon monoxide. It's going off for a reason. It's not just annoying you just because it wants to. It's alerting you to the fact that there's fucking carbon monoxide. What?
Well,
holy shit. I mean, I get it because like you're under so much stress at that time, right? Like you're trying to get things ready for the holiday, but like, I mean,
so officially Thanksgiving is the most stressful holiday in America, huh?
I wonder, could it possibly be? It might be.
I don't know.
Because there's this pressure to get like the whole meal done. There's, everything needs to be like right. You have all these people coming over.
All right, let's see what the next one is. I'm a medic. Every single woman who went into labor on Thanksgiving refused to be transported because they wanted to eat dinner first. Only about half of them made it to the hospital alone. The other half delivered at home. Okay. Well, I gotta be honest. If I went into labor, if I was pregnant, I don't want to be leaving the house without food.
What? I somehow think food is the least of your concerns. You can get food at a hospital. It may not be great, but you can eat there. I would be more concerned about the medical situation, and delivering like a healthy child in a less stressful atmosphere.
But then also, pregnant women are completely hopped up on hormones, right?
Don't tell them that. Jesus.
So it could just be like, look, I'm not leaving until I get my pumpkin pie. I mean, pregnant or not, I probably would be the same way, though. I'm not leaving until I get my dose of pumpkin pie.
Oof. I mean, sure. Next one. 4th of July. I sounded super
patriotic.
Extreme. Yeah. It's like America. 4th of July. America. 4th of July.
My Ghanaian colleague in DC was like, America. I was like, you do know what that means, right? He's like, what? No. He was so innocent about it. It was funny.
Damn. All right. So, next one. 4th of July. A man was showing off his new handgun to his guests and managed to shoot not just one person, but 2 people in the leg with a single bullet.
Oh boy.
That I'm not gonna like. I can see this happening. It's not that sucks. Honestly, that kind of really sucks. Like, and then everybody else like nearby is probably like fireworks, and like, no, it's a fucking gunshot.
What do you mean you can see this happening? I can never see this happening. I can't even imagine it.
What do you mean?
It's like, just not a scenario I would ever imagine or be in.
Why? What's so?
Well, because I don't know anyone with a handgun, or let alone showing it off.
Well, okay. I guess the whole thing is holiday. Like, well, I mean, if you have friends over and you just got, I don't know, like a Smith & Wesson, right? Or you just got, let's say you got like, I don't know. I mean, I like revolvers. I can't. So, depending on what it is, right? Pistol, handgun, I don't know, right? If you got a Sig P and you want to show your friends, you're like, yo, look at this. I just got a Sig P. It's awesome. If you got a 9mm, okay, cool. Now, like, those to me are basic. I don't even give a shit about showing those off. If I want to show somebody a gun, I'm going to show somebody like a 38 special long barrel and be like, yo, look at this detailing, right? Now, I mean, you should have had the safety on if you have a pistol, right? Definitely should have the safety on. I
mean, I'm just glad it was in the leg and not something like...
Yeah, and it probably also should not have been loaded. So yeah, that's a bit of a safety issue.
Yeah, you would think that someone who owns a handgun would actually know how to use it.
Well, they do. They just didn't have the safety on. But like, that's not the way I want to end my 4th of July. I want to end it watching fireworks, not like people hearing me get shot, me scream, and then people thinking it was just fireworks, basically. I want to actually just see fireworks, not be a part of the show. I want to see the show.
Well, I guess since you want... I mean, most people want 4th of July to end in a bang, and it technically did.
Shit, it did. You're right.
I am going to tap myself on the back.
That was a good one.
All right. The next one is... Thanksgiving years ago, mother calls for domestic. Her 2 adult sons are in a fist fight, arguing over watching football or the WWE SmackDown.
What the fuck is going on? It's fine.
I want to smack someone.
Okay. I mean, not to be an asshole, but who watches wrestling on Thanksgiving?
Clearly one of her adult son.
That's true, because it is Thursday, yeah. Is there not more than one TV in this house? There's no compromise?
No, I guess not.
I mean, the other thing too is that they're grown-ass adults.
Yeah, it's funny because the person specifically wrote adult sons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
to show how stupid.
Like, that's the most important goddamn thing is, like, football or wrestling?
Well, it seems like Thanksgiving for a lot of people, right, is when all the cobwebs come out. All the family drama comes out. So, not to be too psychological, but maybe it really wasn't about football or the WWE SmackDown. Something else.
They both had the same girlfriend?
I could see that in the situation. I could definitely see that.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. And
That'd be fucking funny.
They both showed up with her.
Well, that'd be fucking crazy. All right, so the next one is kind of like the last one a little bit. So here we go. New Year's Eve hammer fight. The fuck? Okay. New Year's Eve hammer fight. One participant had to be flown to a trauma center. They were brothers. Okay. This is worse than the last one. Where the fuck do you just find 2 hammers? Like, do you just, like... What in the fuck? It's New Year's Eve. Like... What the fuck? Like, you just have toolboxes in your living room?
And they're
like,
drinking.
Did they go and get the hammers? Like, premeditated shit? Like, you didn't even... Like, you had time to say to yourself, this might be a bit much. This might be a little overboard. But no. Hammers. Like, if I wanted to go find a hammer, I'd have to, like, go upstairs to my toolbox. My dad would have to go in the garage, right, to get his hammer. My brother probably doesn't even own a hammer. Like, you just have them laying around. But also, like, nobody's stopping. I guess you can't really stop somebody. You can't really, like, what are you going to say? Jimmy, don't hit him with the fucking hammer. Like, because then you might get hit with the hammer. You can't even break that shit up. You can't even break the fight up. You're like, what the fuck do I bring to a hammer fight? I guess you bring a gun. You bring the handgun from the 4th of July to the hammer fight on New Year's Eve. I don't know.
They all need to, like, all these stories are connected.
They all need to chill the fuck out. Hammers, though. Bro, hammers.
Well, in their defense, New Year's Eve, so they must be hammered. Oh god, I did it again, didn't I? I didn't mean to. Kind of.
You clearly did.
But it makes sense. They must be like drunk out of their minds, right? So.
I mean, I don't think I've been that drunk on New Year's Eve. Like, that's... Then again, I don't really get into fights often. Especially with family members like that. I don't know. That's a whole nother level right there. That's a whole nother level. The fact that you, like, they actually attacked each other with the hammers is a bit much. Not gonna lie, that's a bit much.
I mean, being flown to a trauma center?
That's crazy. That's the thing. I don't think it's even alcohol. There's no amount of, I can't even say, that's beyond alcohol. That's beyond drinking. That's beyond being drunk. That's just fucked.
Yeah. What is the next one? So the next one is, took a call of a plane crash. The guy was watching it go down in real time and then said, I don't know if you need to send medics. I don't think anyone is going to make it once the plane hit the ground. A few hours later, I took a call from a lady who said she thought her husband was the pilot and wanted to know if we had any information. Luckily for us, it crashed right past our jurisdictional line and into the county jurisdiction, so I transferred her to them. Sad day for everyone. What? I mean...
Well, that was dark.
That was very dark.
Shit.
And the guy...
That's fucking terrible. Oh my god.
Watching it in real time? How do you get past something like that?
Yeah, no, that's crazy. Like, I would need like a mental reset. Like, I'd have to, I don't know, do something just to, like, because you never get that image out of your head.
And the wife too.
That's pretty bad, because it's like, you don't know how bad the crash is. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
And being the wife of the pilot, and the pilot who's in control of the plane.
It's messed up. I feel like it's really hard to get past like traumatic events like that without some form of like therapy or something.
Yeah.
All right, so here's another one. A few years back, I took a call on Thanksgiving of a domestic situation. Two brothers got into it over who was taking the last turkey drumstick to give to their dog. They literally got in a fist fight over it, drawing blood and causing injuries. What the fuck? What the fuck is going on
with brothers?
With brothers, like
it's like what?
There's something happening between brothers and Thanksgiving. Clearly, my two brothers should not be in the same place on Thanksgiving, because who knows?
Yeah.
You're going to
end up on Reddit.
We're going to avoid this shit. I'll make sure my sister's here. You don't see two sisters anywhere, right? No. It's always two brothers. So we'll just, we'll avoid that.
For everyone's safety.
All right. So this one's kind of long, but honestly, it is kind of crazy. So let's get into this one. It's Christmas weekend quite a few years ago, and I was recently hired and still in training. I didn't take this call nor dispatch it. I have to set the scene a little. Our agency dispatches law enforcement only, and we serve the entire county, including the cities. The city this call takes place in is a bit small, and it straddles a major highway. It divides the city into an east side and a west side. It's early on Friday, and Christmas is this weekend. A guy calls from an apartment complex on the west side and needs help because his ex-wife refuses to let him have their daughter for the weekend, and it's his weekend with her. Officer from the west side goes out and clears it as a civil matter. About 30 minutes later, the guy calls back, says there's a court order. The West Side officer goes back out, and the guy doesn't have any paperwork and nothing to prove it's a court order. So the officer clears it. About 15 minutes later, he calls back again. Says he's got his paperwork, and the officer meets him, looks at the paperwork, and says it's a civil agreement to share custody, not a court order. So he clears it again. Another short time later, guy calls, says his lawyer says it's a court order, and the officer calls the guy and the lawyer and explains that just because the judge signed off on a civil agreement doesn't make it an enforceable court order. Now, this is where things get weird. A short time after that, we get a new call. This time, it's on the east side. It appears to be medical. The floor nurse at the assisted living facility calls to report a resident is down. We don't do medical, so our call taker transfers it and wisely stays on the line. The charge nurse says they were walking the hall when they noticed a resident's door open and feet in the doorway. They checked and the male resident was down and unresponsive. They don't have a cordless phone and cell phone was unavailable for some reason, so the nurse ran to the desk for the call. The nurse is then asked to check for pulse and breathing, perform CPR if needed, and report back when appropriate. Nurse puts the phone on desk and runs back to the room. Seconds later, nurse is back and says the resident has a gunshot wound. Our call taker immediately takes the call over and asks all the questions you'd probably think right now. Is it suicide? Did you hear the gunshot earlier? Did you see the gun? The nurse doesn't have any answers. Our call taker asks them to go back and see if the gun is there. The fear is that there's someone running around shooting residents. Nurse runs down, runs back, and says there's another person down. A female is dead on the bed. No sign of a gun. Our call taker asks them to go back and look for the gun. We need to make sure this is suicide and not an active shooter. In retrospect, I'd say this is a bad course of action, but it is what it is. The nurse goes back to the room and comes back and yells that there's a third person down in the closet, and they are not going back into that room. Now, as soon as they first reported that there was a gunshot wound, our call taker put the call in for law enforcement as an urgent call. Everyone on the east side, plus the sergeant, went. They responded to the call. What's interesting is that the first officer that was on the west side from the first scene, he calls out, calm as anything, that he was on scene. Everyone else can slow it down. No one's been shot. The sergeant keys up to that officer and asks him, where are you? He says, I'm in the parking lot by building 3 with the caller. The sergeant asks at, blah, blah, apartment complex. And the officer responded 10-4, which is like affirmative, yes. The shooting's on the east side. So the sergeant told him that. He's like, the shooting is on the east side. There's an uncomfortable pause. The officer says, dispatch, take me off the shooting and put me on the child custody dispute, please. So the West Side officer calls up a few minutes later to talk to the dispatcher. He says, I'm totally getting fired for this. When the alert tone for the shooting went out, I looked at the computer and saw the address for the apartment complex. When I heard it was the guy down by possible suicide, I thought my caller killed himself over this. When it was the guy and a female, I thought he killed his wife and himself. When I heard there was a second female, I thought he killed his daughter too, and it pissed me off. When I saw him outside smoking when I pulled up, I figured the guy down, the guy who got shot, was the ex-wife's new boyfriend or something. I drove straight at him, slammed on the brakes, and jumped out of the car, pointing a shotgun at him. I don't even remember getting the shotgun. I'm yelling to the guy, where's the gun? And he damn near pissed himself. Then I thought, did he make all this shit up because I couldn't help him? Then when I keyed up to tell everybody to slow down, when Sergeant said I'm at the wrong location, I could feel the blood drain from my face. I've been apologizing nonstop to the guy, but I still can't help him. I'm pretty sure he's not going to call back anymore. So it turns out the old guy at the assisted living facility had his wife and adult daughter visit to tell him that they could no longer afford the place and that he'd have to move to a cheaper, crappier place. They had spent all of his money. He was not happy with them. Somehow, the floor nurse failed to hear 3 gunshots. The other residents thought they heard commotion, but they didn't think much of it because it got quiet really quickly. Merry Christmas!
That was a crazy story.
This is insane. This is completely insane. Like, that's a pretty bad mistake on the officer's part, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But, like, I can see how, like, maybe the residents didn't... But it is, like, it's a shotgun, right? It was a shotgun.
Yeah.
Shotguns are pretty damn loud. So it's a little scary that nobody really checked it out. To hear a shotgun go off 3 times is a bit much to, like, not go see what's going on.
My God.
That's terrible, honestly.
And the cop. Man, he felt
Man, if
so
you still
bad.
have a job.
Yeah, I would be surprised.
Yeah, seriously. Like, that's... Like, that's a really messed up mistake to make.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. I mean, I kind of get it, but yeah. Shit. Okay.
Wow. Well,
I mean, yeah, that does suck. I mean, but for the guy to actually, like, kill his own family members is a bit much too.
Yeah.
Over that, dude. Over that, I get it. Like, shit, they basically, like, stole and used up your money. But holy shit. The last thing we need, guys, the last thing we need around the holidays is murder and homicide.
Yeah.
That's not what we need. We don't need suicide, homicide, murder. We don't need domestic assault. We need none of this.
But then it also kind of makes you think, what do all of the holidays have in common? Bringing family, right, together.
Which is a mistake. It's a goddamn mistake. Do not bring families together. Families should be separated.
What? You're like...
Clearly this shit doesn't work because you wind up with people dead and you wind up... clearly people get shot apparently by accident. Like, it's just not...
Oh my God.
Not having a good time at that point. Well, thank you guys for joining us on this holiday-themed Minisode of 911 calls. It's been a pleasure. It's a lot of fun to read. If you have any holiday nightmare 911 stories or just really crazy holiday stories, let us know. We want to hear them. Drop us a line at info@boundbythecloak.com. Hit us up on Twitter or Instagram. Really, we want to hear from you. Let us know your stories. Subscribe, follow. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. We are wherever it is that you listen to your podcasts.
Thanks for listening.
It's been real.
We'll see you next time.